Yeah. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Feels good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Another live stream with your boy Miller DC. Let's get right to it, guys. Press conference just started, literally right now, and we're gonna talk some fighting. We're gonna talk some. We're gonna talk some fighting. We're gonna talk some predictions. I might have changed some picks. We need to maybe discuss that a bit, but maybe I switched up on a certain fight, and I'll tell you guys about that in a second. But we are finally live, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it, man. #1 commentary channel on YouTube. Let's have some fun. Pretty big card, man. Pretty good card, I would say. Better than I guess even some might imagine. I think that's safe to say. I think this card is gonna be a recipe for a pretty damn good card, and I truly can't wait, man. I've been waiting a while for a pay-per-view, to be quite honest. I've been waiting for quite some time for a good card, and I think we're gonna get it with this one, man. Because the last pay-per-view, what was it? Sean Strickland UFC 297 with Raquel Pennington and Mayra Bueno Silva as the co-main. I mean, geez. Now you look at this card, it is stacked, man. You have Robert Whitaker versus Paulo Costa, Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary, Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo, and Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. And with the main event, and that's the big one, being Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria has been talking crazy. Ilia Topuria has been saying that he's gonna dominate, that he's gonna beat him in the first round. As crazy as that may sound. So I don't know, maybe you guys take Ilya's word for it. I don't know if he's gonna finish him in the first round, but I do have him winning. I'm not gonna lie. I think Ilia Topuria is gonna get it done. And some people don't even like that. They say, well, you know what? How can you say that? It's Alex Volkanovski, one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. But listen, there's going to be a changing of the guard, in my opinion. I think there comes a time where Adesanya looked dominant, Volkanovski, Usman, and a lot of these champions are, falling down one by one. And I think Volkanovski's next. Hollywood Hito in the building says, flip-flopping Miller as usual. The disrespect is crazy. The disrespect is crazy. Listen, man, I've never flip-flopped. Okay, I have before. But is this a flip-flop, or is this just, more coming to my senses? I would say it's more of that. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see. Making sure everything's working fine. I got to put my phone to charge, because if not, it's going to die. Truly can't wait to cover this press conference with you guys. And if you guys remember, the first time we did a press conference reaction was for 297. And if you guys remember, there was that one fan that ran up to Sean Strickland, and supposedly that was the reason why they cut it short. I don't know if I believe him, but supposedly that was why. Give me 1 second. But hopefully we actually get some good back and forth today for this card. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. I expect Volkanovski to talk heavy, but be cordial. I expect Ilia to do the same. Let's see if anybody surprises us. Maybe Paulo Costa has the secret juice on stage, and I don't know, Whitaker says something slick, or Merab still has Sean O'Malley's jacket. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I guess plenty of things could happen, and we're gonna find out. Alex Volkanovski and Topuria being the main event. The press conference just started, so let's get right to it, man. This should be fun. This should be fun covering this like we did for UFC 297. Kopylov just took a seat. Kopylov I think he's a southpaw fighter, right? I remember covering his fight before, and Roman Kopylov is solid, man. He's coming off what, like 4 wins? Yeah, 4 wins in a row. I believe he's a southpaw striker. And let me see if I could find it. It doesn't say on Tapology right now, I think. Fighting out of Foundation Style Combat Sambo. And he's from Combat Sambo, man. Reminds me of the Dagestanis. Or the Dagestanis. And he is from Mother Arusha. So, let's see. What do you think is better, 298 or 300? Woo! Right now, let me look at UFC 300, and because I know they got Oliveira, Saryukian. They still don't have main event on paper right now. This is better. Gaethje versus Holloway. I wasn't excited when that first came out. Of course, I got a pimple today. I got to go live. I wasn't like. I said that's a tough fight for a Holloway, so I'm not happy about that. Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. I do like Henry versus Rakic. Yeah, bro. I think it's a no-brainer. I think 298 is. Look at this card: Volk, Topuria, Whitaker, Costa. Whitaker, Costa is a sleeper. Jeff Neal, Ian Gary. That's another good fight, man. I have Jeff Neal winning. I almost want to flip flop one more time, but anyways, I have Jeff Neal winning. Then you got Merab versus Henry and Anthony versus Kopilov. That's not bad. I would say right now on paper, this is better. I think that's fair to say. Man. Yeah, just looking. You got Henry, a former champion. You got Robert Whitaker, who's been one of the best middleweights for a long time. You got Costa, who's a star. You got Ian Gary, love him or hate him, he draws attention. And then you got Topuria, who's like next up, man. He's next up. Damn, I should have set up my flag today. I got a new flag for this weekend's card. I'm sure you guys could imagine what that is. Yeah, we just went live. Now make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button, all that. We think Beta wrote to me on Twitter. He says, we think Henry is going to let him get 20 minutes of control time on Against the Fence. You're crazy. Bro, this guy's right. That's what bro, see? Beta will show up later. He always shows up. But let me write to him, bro, that's what I'm saying. No way he allows that. Smart, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. Ray Melendez with the silver glove in the building. What's up, Ray? I heard you're going to Puerto Rico next week, bro. Make it happen. Come through. Tell the homie Levi what's up. Tell Natasha to not be trying to get your food, bro. You cooked it. She said she wasn't hungry. The nerve, man. Whitaker making his way to his seat as we speak. John Anik there as well, too. Jeff Neal with the drip. Wait. Wasn't it Jeff Neal who Ian Gary had on his shirt? Right? It wasn't Neil Magny. It was Jeff Neal, Ian Gary's shirt. It just hit me that they're fighting again now. Yes. Oh, my God. Let me see if I can find the shirt. So they're running this one back when it should have. Yeah, this is it right here. That's when he wore his shirt. Ian Gary's wild for that. What Jeff Neal should do is capitalize and come out with his own shirt. If he hasn't already. That's what Jeff Neal should do. Come out with his own shirt. Play the horn. This. That right there. What's up, Ray? I just gotta be careful because I can't let this audio sneak. Look at this guy. Look. Volkanovski going with, yo, I respect it. Volkanovski's funny for dressing up like that. He's funny for that. You gotta give him respect. Merab is gonna lose. That's it. I switched my pick. I come to my senses, bro. Merab is gonna lose, man. I feel pretty strongly about that. Let me see something real quick. Volkanovski versus Topuria. They're talking right now. All right, there we go. Let's get it. I think. Gotta maybe lower this some more. Gotta start with old man Volk, I believe. John Morgan, of course, with the first question. Oh, this is funny. Credit to Volkanovski. For the people as well, says Volk. He's 26-3, man. Damn. He really wore that, bro. Look at his outfit. I'll try to show it again in a second. Credit to him. La, la, la. Oh, Elia's getting booed right now. Elia's telling the crowd to shut the F up. Oh, this guy doesn't care. You just came ready for your retirement, says Ilya. That. Oh, snap. He said, stand up and humble me then. Oh, yo, Volk is funny. Volk is. Yo, Volk is funny. That tux is fire by Ilya. Volk is going into character. Respect it. Ilya might finish it in the first round, man. Ilya says, I'm going to walk the floor with you. He said, you see that belt? That's the last time we're going to see that belt. I'm going to take your head off, says Ilya. Conor McGregor wannabe, says Volkanovski. It might look a little bit flustered. I don't know. Let's see what he says. There's going to be some doubt. He's going to be showing a lot of confidence. Volkanovski says he doesn't stand a chance. I just listen, man. He's 35 years old, bro. Like, I'm saying like that's old, and I'm right around the corner from that. So, but I don't know. Volk gonna kill him. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Ilya says, I represent the evolution of this game. I represent the new generation, says Ilya. I'm gonna change the whole game. Yo, Ilya doesn't care. He said, and all you guys will become an instant fan, so shut the F up right now. He says, do something to the crowd. He doesn't care. Yo, Ilya doesn't care. He doesn't mind playing the heel. I didn't know he would be booed that much. I appreciate Volk with the gimmick, says Henry. Beta, we were just talking about you. I just showed you your tweet on let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Listen, Great Minds, look, listen. I responded to you, but we think Henry is gonna let him get 20 minutes of control time on control time against the fence. You're crazy. That's literally, I just responded to that a second ago. That's literally what made me think there's no way Henry allows that for 15 minutes straight. There's no way. If he might lose by knockout, don't think it's gonna happen, but there's no way. Marab says, I'm gonna make Mexican people happy. To represent Mexican pride. He pulls out a flag out of his pocket. Yo, Marab is crazy for that. All right, Marab. Smart. Well played. Well played, Marab. I'm gonna represent Mexico. Okay, gotta give him respect. Hollywood. Well played for Marab. Well played. Well played. I'm listening. Henry says you're dead. He's getting cheers. He's getting cheers. He has the Mexican flag up. People are cheering him on. Paulo Costa in the building. Here we go. Let's see what he says. I didn't hear. They didn't. they actually didn't cheer for Henry. They actually didn't at all. Paulo Costa says there's an amazing crowd, a lot of energy. Round of applause for you guys. Smart, well played, Paulo Costa. Hito would wear that shirt right after Costa if he got the chance. Without washing it. Paulo Costa. It's been a long break since my last fight. I fixed all my injuries. I'm gonna run for the title shot next after getting a knockout against Whitaker. Yo, I almost feel like switching. I'm gonna chill because I've been called a flip flopper before, and I don't want to necessarily go down that path. But I'm just saying, I can see Costa pulling it off. That's all I'm gonna say. I can see him pulling it off. Is all I'm gonna say. Janana gets asked about the questions. There's some Spain flags in the stands. Some Topuria fans out there. The crowd getting loud. Question for Jeff Neal. Wait. Did they show Ian Gary yet? Wait. I haven't even focused up. Is Ian Gary in the stands? Merab better go out there and give us a hell of a show. All them theatrics don't mean nothing if the fight is god awful. Beta. Oh, Ian Gary being asked something. Listen, that's something Hito doesn't want to accept. That Merab needs a good performance. At the end of the day, he needs one badly. I'm gonna get my hand raised Saturday night. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show out, and I'm gonna get my hand raised in spectacular fashion. He answered well. Will you shake hands after the fight? Jeff Neal says, "I got you, bro." Jeff Neal with the drip. Who has the best drip on the press conference? You might have to give that to Jeff Neal. Anthony Hernandez being questioned right now. Looks like one of my cousins. Roman Kopilov in the building. Neal look like he does look a little bit up there in age, which makes me a little bit worried of my pick as well too. I'm a little worried about my picks, man. For some reason, I feel. All right, which one am I most worried about? I got Neal. I got Kopilov, Cejudo, Neal, Whitaker, Topuria. Which one am I most worried about? Probably that Neal fight. I'm not gonna lie. Probably that Neil fight. Ian Gary's good at the end of the day. What's gonna be the key for the Matador to be champion? Ilya's asked. Just to show up and squash him. Alex Volkanovski pretending he's sleeping. Yo, this guy's voice is crazy. I want to be active. My story at lightweight's not over. This old dog still got plenty of time, says Volkanovski. Listen, man, the guy was drinking every day for 3 to 4 weeks in a row. I'm just saying that's a cause for concern just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Yo, this guy's voice is crazy. This guy asking a question. There's only 2 options for me. Kill or be killed, says Topuria. I didn't come this far to die. I'm just ready to kill, says Ilya. Listen, he's been talking heavy. He has to pull it off. He has to pull it off. Henry, listen, one thing that maybe Hito got a point in is, speaking of Merab, like, it's almost like Cejudo's not even there. This guy's a former champion. More than once. He got one question? I mean, the press conference just started, what, like 24 minutes ago, 23 minutes ago? Henry's been asked a question once, as if he's not even there. It's kind of bad. I mean, we'll see. Paulo Costa being asked a question right now. Costa better not drink before the fight again like he did against Adesanya. What was Costa's last fight? Luke Rockhold, I think, right? And before that, Izzy. He hasn't been the most active, man. The people's main event before the real main event. Speaking of himself and Whitaker. Paulo being asked a question in Portuguese. Ginger T slaps. He's being asked that. Why is he so confident that he's gonna get a title shot if he beats Whitaker? I mean, it happened for Dricus. Who's next in line if we look at the UFC rankings as well, too? If you really think about it. Like, I'm not saying Costa should get the shot next, but who's a clear contender for Dricus if it's not Adesanya? Can Costa sneak up there? He is number 6 in the division as well, too. That's not even something I thought about until now, until Costa talked about it, because he's so confident about getting that title shot, which is kind of crazy. I mean, would you guys hate that? I mean, it's a weird question to ask, but why not? If Paulo Costa beats Whitaker, title shot next? I have a feeling most are going to say no, but just in case. Don't interrupt Abuelo when he's talking. And it is a couple more days, man. That's crazy. About 48 hours. What time is this main event? I'm assuming it's going to be what, 10 p.m. EST? Yeah. Damn, man. These late cards kill me. And the prelim card is nothing special. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern being the last fight of the preliminary card, and then it's straight to the main event. He's always been hated though. It's hard to like Cejudo. He's even more. Why you switch up your pick, Miller? Um, to be honest, listen, not to not to give Beta credit too much, but I think he hit the nail on the head. He says we think Henry is gonna let him get 20 minutes of control time on the against the fence. You're crazy. That I think in a 3-round fight, Henry is gonna make the fight a striking match, and I can see him winning. Do you disagree, Plugs? I can see him pulling it off. If I think he could keep it away from the ground for 3 rounds. Merab out of cook. The pick I'm most worried for, surprisingly, is not even Cejudo versus Merab. I'm more worried about Neil versus Ian Gary. That's the one I'm a little bit more worried for. Damn, the UFC has 100,000 viewers. Crazy. Cejudo being questioned now. I personally just want to fight. He doesn't have a clear choice on who he wants to win between Volk and Topuria. 145 is still the mission, says Cejudo. Gotta get past Merab first. Paulo does. That's another one I'm a little worried about as well. I'm worried about my picks this time. You know how I used to do the shorts and my predictions? I don't feel confident if I were to do one of those. Like Costa looks ready. He has had time off. Oh, Ilya took the title. Ilya took the title. And they're staring each other down. He tried to pull it. Is it corny? Is he trying to pull a Connor? You're never going to see it against this Volkanovski. Until then, get your hands off my belt, says Volkanovski. Jon Anik smiles. And he really just got up. He really just got up and grabbed the title. He pulled the Connor. Grandpa Volk by fatality. People are writing in the chat. Don't tell me this is it. Damn, this is it already? We're going to clear the stage and we got a press conference for UFC 300? What? The replay is just unnecessary, someone wrote. It was cool. Bro, why do they rush these press conferences so much? You have Merab, Costa, Volk, Topuria, Gary could be asked like questions about his wife or something like that. Like, why do they rush it so fast, man? Paulo does look ready. Hey, Sencito's here. I wanted to address something he said Monday. What did he say, bro? What did he say? Yo, they rush these now. 14-1 people are writing in chat. Jon Anik shaking the hand of Volk. Damn, man. I almost feel like picking Costa too, but I'm not going to take it that far. Merab really got the Mexican flag. Jeff Neal asked Merab where he had that flag. I said, in my back pocket. Merab is funny. Listen, he was getting way more cheers in California than Henry Cejudo. That is kind of wild. I'm not going to lie. Topuria trying to be like Connor. He was getting booed a lot as well, too. He kept telling the crowd to shut the F up, which was funny. But I like Topuria. Topuria has a big following as well, too. I don't think he was ready or expected for the crowd not to be on his side. He has more followers than Volkanovski, which is pretty crazy. But I just don't think he expected for the crowd to be against him the way they were. And he was basically saying, shut the F up, shut the F up. Just crazy, which is wild. He tried to blame the core MMA fans for not buying pay-per-views. How is it anyone's fault but the UFC for charging 90 a fight? That's a question that he's gonna have to answer. Bro, 90's wild, bro. This pay-per-view is good. Yeah, I like this card. On paper, it's better than 300 thus far. Look at Merab. Merab's a star out here. Marab's a star out here. Roman Kopilov is going to square off against Hernandez, so they're going to do face-offs. I want to see if Ilya does anything crazy against Volkanovski. It's almost as if the pay-per-view metric is a dying stat and means almost nothing in that age of pop. Yeah. It's almost as if the pay-per-view metric is a dying stat and means almost nothing in the age of. So let's hypothetically say you can't pirate a fight and you can only watch it. You think people are buying the pay-per-view or is it just too expensive? Merab and Henry Cejudo staring each other off. Dang, you know Henry's small when freaking Merab looks like a giant next to him. Merab takes out the Mexican flag and shows it to the crowd. Ian Gary about to face off right now. They shake hands. Ian Gary's doing what is it called? Trying to what is it called? He might have hired a publicist or something because he wanted to shake Jeff Neal's hand after putting his face on a t-shirt, but he pats his back. They're very cordial. Ian Gary's trying to change the image, but it went well for him. Nobody mentioned his wife at this press conference. That is an underrated fight. I got Roman Kopilov though. Kopilov is a dog, and that price point is subject to change at will. Next year might be 100. Listen, man, that's that capitalism stuff, man. You keep trying to get more profits until you milk the cow till it's dry. But listen, that's expensive. Why not 70? Why not 65? Then you'll get more buys, right? I think. Or I don't know, like, it's just way too expensive. Merab represents Mexico, says Plugs. Ilia Topuria. They're squeezing out every dollar they could get. Volkanovski walking forward in character. Ilia Topuria staring at Volkanovski. They're the same height, man. I wonder if the height thing plays a factor. I wonder if the height thing plays a factor. Volkanovski's so used to fighting people that are significantly taller. Reach-wise, he's always been right there for the most part. I don't think there's ever been somebody that was like significantly super long reach compared to him. I don't think, Rodriguez wasn't. I'm pretty sure Holloway wasn't either. I think it was even. If anything, Volkanovski might have had a reach. I don't remember. Too expensive hardcore fans are the only people paying $100 every 2 weeks for fights with basically no names. Yeah, and that's another thing. Imagine charging a pay-per-view for UFC 297 for Sean Strickland, where the co-main is literally, and the rest of the card was trash. Like, to charge that much there had to be some discount for that card. It's insane. The biggest pay-per-views were for Lesnar and McGregor, and that was damn near a decade. Yeah. And then with the pirated streams and stuff, it makes it tough for them as well, too. I don't even remember the last time I bought a pay-per-view. I do, but yeah, it hasn't been necessarily super recent, if you know what I mean. It's been a while because it's just been too much, man. I was buying every single pay-per-view. I bought every single pay-per-view since doing YouTube. I think, like 250 something, 260 something UFC that I've been doing the pay-per-view cards. Maybe a little earlier. It's just gotten way too expensive, man. Almost like it's what, $89.95 pre-tax. It's like 94 something after tax. That's insane. Damn, man, Volkanovski Topuria fight is kind of crazy. That Topuria fight is going to be. He is coming off a loss, though. Volkanovski is coming off a loss, so he's either going to be reinvigorated and out there to prove himself, get some kind of redemption, or maybe this is the decline, like he just said in the promo. Wow. It's tough to say, man. That's another thing, man. It is a 5-round fight. That worries me. A 5 round fight for freaking a 5 round fight for Topuria for his first 5 round fight against freaking no, he had one against Emmett, but nonetheless to fight Volkanovski now 5 round fight that's a big step up from Josh Emmett. Ilya Topuria looked like the bad guy. Ilya Topuria looked like the bad guy from Bad Boys. If you guys remember, at least in this, where right here, right. Let me see if I can find it for you so I can show you guys. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Tell me he doesn't. Let me see. Maybe I'm tripping. I was going off memory, but look at him here, and then let me see if I can find. You guys ever seen Bad Boys 2? And this guy here, no? Somewhat similar, no? Just with shorter hair. Am I tripping? I'm a little off or on. Tell me that doesn't look like Topuria. Bro, it looks just like him anyways. Back to the promo. Topuria says he's unbreakable. Listen. This is going to be tough. Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, man. That's late. I'm already used to it at this point. I know I'm going to go to sleep like at 4 in the morning. By the time all the fights are over, maybe make a little video after that. It's late. I don't even remember the last time I bought a Topuria winning. I feel the same way, Plugs. I think Topuria's going to get the job done, man. I think the speed is going to be a factor. Speed and power, as simplistic as that sounds. Now, Volkanovski's IQ might be enough to kind of, take Topuria's best offensive weapons away from him, but I just think it's going to be a factor. I feel they're going to both connect, but when they do both connect, I think it's going to be Topuria that's going to be way more vicious, man. That's just how I think Topuria's going to connect and he's going to hurt him. And Volkanovski coming off a loss, we don't know if his chin's going to be the same. So that's another factor as well, too. Not only that, if pay-per-views were that lucrative, why is every established fight promotion failing and moving away from the medium? Do you think the UFC would ever move away from that? I mean, they have their deal with ESPN and all that, but I don't know exactly what the solution is because people are going to pirate streams. I mean, it just is what it is. But how do they move away from that platform being ESPN and just charging in that fashion? I've never wanted someone to lose as much than Topuria, maybe Colby, but Topuria is winning this fight. Why do you say that, Mike Dornan? Welcome to the stream with the Gold Glove, man. Thank you so much for the support. Why so? Why do you feel that way? That you want him to lose almost just as bad as maybe Colby? But despite that, why do you feel he's winning as well, too? Double-sided question. Beta says, I got El Matador. I don't want Volk to lose, but I want to see the ties change. But skill-wise and at the point of both of their careers, I know you got Topuria, but you think he's going to dominate? You think he's going to be an early finish? You think it's going to be a decision? Because I think the longer the fight goes, I think that benefits. I think that does benefit Volkanovski. Ian Gary's wife is a 300 main event star. Ian Gary has been way more humble as of late. If I were to be honest, he's been way more humble. Now whether that's because the whole wife thing and which could be the case, right? That could be the case, but I don't know. These press conferences have been so short, man. How long? What time is it? 8:46. It was done at like what? 8:40, 8:38. It started probably like at 8:07. No good questions. I feel like John Morgan has some decent ones, but Volkanovski probably won the press conference if you think about it with the character that he was playing, the old man with the glasses and the hat. He got the most cheers. The fans were on the side. Merab maybe coming out with the Mexico flag and getting more cheers in California than Henry Cejudo when he's a Georgian. I guess it was a win for him as well, too. Ian Gary, he didn't get that much hate got a few boos here and there. But Jeff Neal didn't really have much to say either. He didn't make the moment about himself. So it was a pretty strange press conference to say the least. Um, I think Topuria is that good. I do as well. He might have not had the best. He might have not had the best press conference, but I watched this fight with Mitchell, and granted, that's Mitchell. That's no Volkanovski. That striking just looks elite. Just looks good. I got Topuria by fourth round KO. Wow. So a little later. Wow, that's interesting. Um, I think he fights a hard fight, gets close to getting beaten, and Volk slips up close to the end of the fourth, gets clipped, and we get a new champ. You do yourself a favor, Beta, and screenshot your own prediction in case that happens to be true. Then you look like a genius. Presser could have been a lot more fun. Yeah, you have Costa that hasn't fought in forever, has had like 5 canceled bouts since like 2019. He's in attendance. You have Merab, who's doing this thing on social media. He's in attendance. You have Cejudo, a former champ. You have him in attendance. Why not? Like, there's so many things you could ask. Like, then you have Ian Gary with his, his whole situation in the past and him not showing up for 297. But now here he was at 298. I mean, I don't know. There was just missed opportunities, I feel like. Pressers have trash as of, yeah. Even the Sean Strickland one wasn't good. I mean, Sean Strickland had little moments or whatever, but the last 2 press conferences specifically were just not the best. I mean, it was a little bit lackluster. But what I will say is that it is a good card. On paper, this is not bad. Hernandez versus Kopilov, Cejudo, Merab. Again, I'll give you guys my picks real quick. Kopilov, I got him winning. I switched my pick. I was picking Merab to beat Cejudo, but then I thought to myself, and Beta again made a good point, where Beta said earlier, we think Henry is going to let him get 20 minutes of control time on the fence or against the fence. You're crazy. I can't see that happening. I think a 3-round fight, when I initially I thought that might benefit Merab since Cejudo's more seasoned. But at this point in both of their careers, I think that benefits Cejudo more, that it's only 3 rounds, especially with the cardio that Merab has, because 4th and 5th round, he still wasn't going to stop. This gives a chance for Cejudo to maybe keep his striking and get the win, and I think he's going to get the win. What do you even ask Gary, though? What do you ask Gary? Let's brainstorm out loud a bit, have a little fun. I would say you have made headlines as of recent. Plenty of fighters have been mentioning your name. Despite all that, what's your mentality going into this fight, and what does this fight mean for you in your future? Maybe something like that. And then depending on what he says, you continue with it. He's going to say something about, I don't care what the fans say, blah, 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 whatever. And then how would he follow that? This fight was scheduled prior and it didn't happen. You put Jeff Neal on your shirt, but today you're cordial with him. Why the change of heart? That's Ariel Helwani-esque right there, because now you're putting him under the gun. He's gonna say something like, "Oh, it was just a joke," or like, "Why are you asking me this stupid question?" Like, either way, it makes him answer a tough question. So I think that's another good route to take. Before it seemed like you put him on a shirt, disrespecting him. I might even take it a step further. You put Jeff Neal on a shirt. You talked about Neil Magny as a father, but today you're very calm and friendly. Why the switch up in your character? Probably wasn't gonna like that question, but it's a question to ask because he has changed. What do you? We need America's champ Kobe back to carry these pressers and bully John Morgan. Remember when he told John Morgan that that he'll answer his question if he did what? What was it? 10 or 15 push-ups? What's it like being a cuck? Ask Gary Wise. you guys are evil, man. Why y'all doing Ian Gary dirty like that, man? He's a good man, a married man. He's bro. Did you see the comments on UFC? Did you guys see the comments on UFC Embedded with Ian Gary in Brazil? Hold on a second. Oh, let me see if I could find it. UFC. Let me go to their channel real quick. Bro, they were going crazy. Hold on. This is episode 4. I think it was episode 3. Of course, I looked at all the comments and stuff, but I'm pretty sure or was it Ian Gary on the cover? Was it? Let me see. Was it this one? This is 3 days ago. I feel like this was yesterday. Hold on a second. I'll tell you right now in a second. I don't think it was this episode. It might have been the first episode. One second. Yeah, he's in Brazil. Bro. Fighters have shared the love with 90 Shubat fighters have shared the love with Ian and his wife. Brazilians must be amazing people if they can tolerate Ian Gary. Ian Gary's mom and wife basically sending him to a Brazilian boys camp so they can teach him how to act. Every coach, every embedded is the best camp we've ever had. Ian moves to a gym called Shoot Her Box. What a Bro, these people are literally just filled with brutal jokes about Ian Gary and his wife. Brilliant. I speak for everyone when I say, Jeff Neal, please save us. Bro, he was getting flamed. And I guess maybe that's why he's been a bit more cordial, nice to Jeff Neal instead of, because remember, he put him on a shirt before, which is kind of crazy. I think he had his mob, like what is it called? His picture, like I guess he was locked up before or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Ian Gary, Jeff Neal, shirt. Weren't sure with Neal's his mugshot, right? Is that what it was? Of course, my computer wants to be slow now, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, with Neal's mugshot. I thought he was talking about Bilal Muhammad, but turns Jeff Neal looked very poised though, as if he's just focused on locking in and winning the fight. So that's part of that could be part of it too, where he's just locked in and he doesn't care and he's just going in there to win. Speaking of Jeff Neal, so that could potentially be the case. But Ian Gary has been very calm. Do you remember with the Neil Magny press conference and how he kept saying Neil Magny's a bad father and just wouldn't stop like beating on that drum? He's a bad father. We should boo this man. But today Ian Gary was very laid back. He wanted to shake Jeff Neal's hand. He's training in Brazil with the fam. I think he's trying to change his public image. I think that's what it comes down to. Could Ilya become a star if he beats Volk, face of the UFC? I think the weight that he put on his shoulders, saying that he's going to knock out Volkanovski. What's up, Lord 66? I think him saying that he's going to knock out Volkanovski in the first round and just talking crazy how he's going to, retire him. If he wins in dramatic fashion and in the fashion in which he said he will, with the following that he has, it's tough of whether he'll become the face, but he'll be right up there, I think. It'll be close. It'll be close because you have Sean Strickland, even though he just lost the title. I don't think nobody draws more attention to him. You have Sean O'Malley defending the title soon as well, too, against Chito Vera. He's a big name, but I could see Topuria sneaking past him as well, too. So it's tough to say. I guess you could say he could surpass Makhachev as far as global attraction after this win if he beats Volkanovski again in dramatic fashion. So, if he becomes a star, he'll become a star for sure. He's already kind of a star. Now, the face of the UFC, not yet. I mean, who is the face if it's not Topuria after winning this fight? Again, let's hypothetically say he wins in the first round by knockout. Hypothetically, who is the face of the UFC if it's not Topuria? I don't think there's a clear answer. Yeah, Sean O'Malley's a star. Yeah, Sean Strickland's a star. You have Leon that holds the title, but as far as a talker and, maybe selling tickets, you have Alex Pereira still around. So, that's a good question, man. I'm going to go with if he gets a first round knockout, yes. Or if he gets a knockout in general. It's early, man, because that's just him winning the title. I think it might or he might need a title defense. If Topuria wins and the winner of Yair versus Ortega gets a title shot, then that could be a huge fight in Spain. Or yeah, oh man, a fight against Yair Rodriguez in Mexico or Spain, or Ortega. Even though Ortega, when was the last time Ortega fought? Man, this guy has been so inactive, and last time he was in the octagon is when he hurt his shoulder, right, against Yair, and that was a loss. Yeah, he's coming back-to-back losses. So if they were to give him the title shot, if Topuria won, that would be crazy after losing back-to-back to Volkanovski and Rodriguez. So I'm assuming it would be Rodriguez. I'm assuming it will be Yair before Ortega, but that's a massive fight. Yair, Topuria, Spain or Mexico. That's a massive fight. I wouldn't mind that at all. But I don't know about face, man. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one, 66, because that's tough. To say he's a face after just that win against, even he has good wins. Emmett, Bryce Mitchell, who else was it? Ryan Hall. He's beating some names, even though again these guys aren't Volkanovski, but to be arguably one of the pound for pound best fighters of all time, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And you might have to say that maybe you could give him top 3. Is that safe to say? That he's top 3 biggest stars in the UFC? I think that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say he's top 3. I don't think I could put him below that. With all the drama Ian Gary's going through, he could be out of focus and blowing his chance and blow. With all the drama Ian Gary is going through, he could be out of focus and blow his chance. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? I don't know necessarily what you mean by that specifically. Are you saying that's why he's calm, because he might blow his chance with all the drama behind? Like, what do you exactly mean? And this is another thing, another take that I might have for you guys that I don't know if you guys will like it, but even if Ian Gary wins, I think the hype behind him is gone as well too. Even if he wins, like, he was somewhat unlikable when he did what he did against when he did, or when he said all the things he said about Neil Magny. He was unlikable at that point. With the Jeff Neal mugshot, but I think with his whole wife thing coming out, I'm sorry, and him being made fun of, and Colby making fun of him, and Sean Strickland making fun of him, and just him being unlikable. Like, there was a point when Ian Gary arrived on the scene and he was interesting. He was someone to maybe get behind of and root for him as a fighter. But even if he wins right now, is he a big attraction? Like, for example, Patty, I don't think Patty's as good as Ian Gary in their respective divisions, but I think he's still way more likable than Gary. Still is a draw, and like a him versus Moicano fight does bigger than any Ian Gary fight that I could think of. So what I guess what I'm saying is that, like, did Ian Gary kind of shoot himself in the foot with everything that happened between his wife and what he did with Magny and Jeff Neal? And yeah, he's known, but will the fans get behind him? I don't think so. Fans got behind Colby at one point until they didn't. Until he said what he said about Leon's father, and then you add to that he lost a fight, and it almost seemed like he didn't try or didn't leave it all out there. I think the combination of both made people just. I think Colby's fan base, a lot of them left, and they went to Sean Strickland. Is the same thing kind of happening with Gary as far as Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, the wife thing, Strickland talking about him, Colby talking about him? It almost seems like Gary, I don't know, the attention and the interest behind him is just not necessarily there the way it once was. I mean, maybe with a good performance, it could change things. Maybe with a good performance, it could perhaps, I don't know. It could change, it could sway the fans maybe, but it's tough to say. If Max wins and Ilya wins, that's the fight to make. 2 belts on the line, the BMF belt and the featherweight belt. Do you do that instead of Yair Rodriguez in Mexico or Spain? You give Max Holloway another shot at the title, and he has failed already like 3 times. But it is Max Holloway, and he is a star. I would like that fight, but I think the UFC would go with the Mexico or Spain fight with Yair Rodriguez. If Gary wins, then they should allow Kobe to put a beating on him. Kobe just looked so washed in that last fight. Granted, he hurt his foot, but I think Gary beats him. Gary smokes Kobe, says Mike Dorney. Yeah, I agree. This fight makes or breaks his career. With every fighter getting in his head, he has to win, and all the pressure of the hatred of almost the entire organization and his fan base and knowing his stock. Yeah, it just seems like that stock plummeted. I don't know. To me, it seems like Ian Gary's stock plummeted drastically. And he tried to be likable today. He still got booed, but he tried to be likable to the fans. And you could tell, trying to shake Jeff Neal's hand. I don't know. I just think with all the cumulative events up till now, just made people not care about him as much, besides booing for him or booing at him. Is in the trash. What if it all has an effect on his ability to focus in the octagon? Ooh. If it is in the trash, what if it all has an effect on his ability to focus in the octagon? We're going to find out. Jeff Neal looks very calm, collected, poised, while Ian Gary's trying to shake his hand. I'm not saying that's a sign of weakness. Credit to him. He wants to, maybe become a likable character. But where Patty was going through all of it, at least he was fighting a 49, 57-year-old Ferguson. Ian Gary's still fighting Jeff Neal, a man that beat Bilal before, a man that gave Shavkat a tough fight. So this changes things a bit, in my opinion. That this is a tougher fight. And if he's not all the way focused, Jeff Neal could very well upset him. I picked Jeff Neal to win. I'm not the most confident in that pick, but I picked him to win. I just don't know if I don't know. I don't know if Gary comes in focus. I don't know if Neal, if his boxing style is enough to trouble Gary. Because that's the problem with Chris Curtis as well, too, is like, if you stop their boxing ability, it's like, what else do they have to offer? I don't think Jeff Neal's going to try to take it to the ground or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, and he don't really have leg kicks like that or kicks in general to really threaten Gary. So with all that being said, I think that could very well be the reason why Gary cruises to a decision. I'm gonna stick to my guns and stay with Jeff Neal. But is he sort of one-dimensional in certain ways? Yes, and that's what worries me a bit. If Gary makes easy work of Neal, he will be one shot away from the. I don't know about that. Ian Gary's at number 10. Granted, Sean O'Malley fought number 1 when he was like number 13, and he fought Petr Yan. But if he beats Neal, I mean, who's a clear contender above him? Kobe's done. Gilbert Burns is getting older. Shavkat is probably the clear contender. You have Bilal there as well, too. So maybe one shot after the Neal fight. That might be fair. Because you could take Usman out the picture, Burns, Covington. So who's really left for the title? Bilal, Shavkat. I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to get one anytime soon. You might be right. JDM is climbing up the ranks as well. So you might have a point. You might have a point. But I don't know. He would have to convince me against Jeff Neal that it's tough. That's tough. Now Merab, man. If Merab beats Cejudo in a boring fashion, I really don't think he's gonna get the title shot next, even if he beats Cejudo. If it's a boring 3-round decision after Chito Vera and Sean O'Malley, I could see Corey Sandhagen sneaking up there. If Cejudo wins, I could see him getting the title shot. Petr Yan, I don't think anytime soon, but you have Davison Figueiredo who's in the rankings now. Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be a scary guy the more he climbs up the ranks, I would say. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for a fun stream. Just wanted to talk a bit about the press conference. Even though it was like 27 minutes long, it was a short press conference. So